Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry. And as you can see, it's a rainy day. And I'm cleaning a couple of buildings today. That's one of them right over there. And the one I'm in. And there's the Oxy-Dry van right down here. And I've been cleaning this carpet, these buildings, for probably 5 or 6 years now. They had been getting them steam cleaned and were not happy with the results, and the carpet's stains were reappearing rapidly and not staying out. And then the building manager got a hold of us, heard of our reputation, and that's the end of the story. So I've been cleaning this. I clean this every year. Sometimes I'm in between. She gets me in to do the lobby areas. These are actually student residences, and they can be quite messy, although she's very strict, so she's pretty good. Doesn't take any guff. She's a funny lady. Anyway, I'm using my Orbitec wheels down orbital machine today, as you can see. This is my vintage machine, about 12 years old or so. And it's actually, come to think of it, it's probably my oldest carpet cleaning machine that I have. Not counting my advanced vacuum, that is. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this particular machine, it's been around for a long time. It's probably the oldest manufacturer. There's his logo right down there. Orbitec. Clark Lancaster is a manufacturer. He builds area rug cleaning machines as well. And for those of you who don't know, one of my brothers was actually in partners with him, but I won't go there. That's a story which some of you know of. And I'm not my brother, just all I can say. But anyway, I'll show you how this thing, the design of it is, it's in a lot of ways you could say it's primitive, but it works and it's reliable, and I've never had any problems with it. The handle release is right here, and when you operate it, actually I'll raise it up. That would be the store position. More vertical that way. You wouldn't operate it like that normally. I guess you could, but there'd be no reason to. Normally, I just put it into right to the bottom position, and there's where it stays when I'm cleaning, and it just locks in place. And to change the pad, all you need to do is you literally just push the machine back, and it just flips up. Very easy. I'm cleaning with a two-way, and I'm running a glider as well, because, it cleans fine. This carpet, I've been cleaning it with two-way all along, and it's just been cleaning marvelously. And putting the glide on makes it just slide very, very easily on the carpet. One of the nice things about the Orbitec is it having a smaller, I guess it's a 9/16 orbit, I'm not sure what it is, but it's a very smooth machine. And with the design, with the way the tank is sitting almost right on top of the motor, all the weight that you have in the machine is pressing down on the motor head. So if you've got 20 gallons there, you've got about 20 pounds on top of the weight of the motor, which is probably, I guess the motor and the head, probably 60 pounds or so. Just the motor, maybe 50 or 60 pounds. I'm not sure what they are. I think this machine is about 110 pounds in total, maybe a bit less. It's a little bit lighter than some, but the design puts the weight over top of the head, as opposed to an Orbot, which I actually also have. But the Orbot, if you don't put 30 pounds of weight on the Orbot, it just doesn't clean great. You got to add the weights to it to get it to really clean, which puts it up to about the level of this machine, because they both have the same orbit. But this is a more ergonomic machine, because you put your hands right here, It just works better than the Orbot, which has those two big honking tubes right there. I find this one is just functionally easier, and the pressure, the water pump is right here, and it's just got a bit of slack in there, and then I want to pull it up like that. It turns it on. Very easy on the finger to operate. So it's just a simple machine. I put a light on it, as you can see, nice LED light. I had another setup underneath here, and I changed it over to this. It originally had 2 jets on the front. I switched it over to a single jet. I prefer that more, the single fan rather than the 2 fans. I did that almost right away. I designed it so that it's on a hinge here, so that if I were to bump into something, it just sort of kind of bumps out of the way. And nice and simple. It's got a handle on the front there where the red duct tape is there. That actually is for grabbing and lifting the machine up. So that's nice and simple. It has a inline filter right here, which you can unscrew that and clean out that filter carefully because it's kind of delicate. I've never replaced it. I just wash it out once in a while. And I have a volume control right here. This will increase or decrease the volume of solution being applied. And you can see I changed over from the original sort of stiff tubing they had on there to this. It's actually air hose, works fine. And then of course the on-off switch is right here. So I've got this. There's 3 floors identical in this building, and 3 floors in the other building, same. So, and some steps to do as well. So we'll go for a ride and see how I do. And what I usually do is I work away from where I'm plugged in, which is the normal practice. You don't want to be tripping over your wire. When you hear me, actually I'll show you in a sec. When the trigger's on now, hear that clunking noise? That's when I release it. It just sort of makes that's the trigger off. There was a couple of spots there, I just took them out. So when you hear that click, click, that's actually like that. That's what you're hearing. So you can tell how much I'm applying. It's on now. When you hear that when I shut it off, you'll hear it shut off. You shut off before you get to right to the end, because it'll spray for a couple of seconds. Just go back and forth on the entries there just a slight bit more. You notice how fast I'm walking? I mean, I'm literally just walking at a normal. If I was just walking down the halls, this is how fast I normally walk. Trigger on, off. Pull it back for here. On, off. Pull it back. I do prefer the tank over the cartridge system that the Orbot has. Actually, it's another thing I prefer about this machine. It's not a big deal, but that's kind of just the way I prefer it. Get my wire out of the way and walk down the hall. Now, I'm going to grab my power cord in my left hand. I'm going to hold it so that if I get a tangle behind me and it snags all of a sudden, I don't pull the plug out of the wall and I can feel it. It'll pull out of my fingers first. I know approximately how far I'm going. Right about to here. So as far as I'm going to go with that. Spin it around. See, I'm right at the end. You can see the strip I did, eh? Okay, here we go. Back down the hall. Along the wall. Spin around. It's like mowing a lawn. So this is where the wheels down orbitals they're just perfect for this scenario. Because there's no weight on your hands, and they do really well on the low pal carpet. Okay, that's actually the first chunk done. Grab my plug, head for the next chunk. So I actually stopped right here, but I'm gonna go and plug ahead here, and then I'll be past it in a sec. I already did it in that doorway, right there. Which the wheel doesn't snag the loop there. They actually had done a very thorough pre-vacuuming for me. Isn't that nice? Okay. And there's not very many marks on it this time. Often there is. All right. Go down, there's a spot right in front of me. I pre-treated all these spots, by the way. I actually used Argo Sheen. Usually I find that works perfectly. Slow down, front of the door. Back down along that edge. Just a little bit strip there. And spin around. Now Now that might just be a damp spot right there. Let's just see. I think so. Okay. Oops. That's my glider on that threshold there. In case you're wondering what that was. Oh, I can make it. Yep, just barely. Okay. I think I threw my glider off center. Let's just do a check. I'll shut it off, pull it back. Oh yeah, it's way off center. That's better. I could feel that. Okay. Alrighty. I can just barely see the line of the edge there where I cleaned already, so just barely discernible, a little bit damper. Carpet's really not that soiled, so okay. Now I'm gonna reposition. That actually might be a coffee stain or something right there behind me. I think I can still see it a little bit there, so I'm going to assume it is. And just to be safe, I'm going to put that down here. I'm going to put some peroxide on there. If it was a coffee stain, then of course that'll just fade away. That's what I'm using. Park that over here. Get this back over there. Okay, I'm going to go slow in front of the elevator. I did a bit of a pre-spray on here with Argo Sheen. One of the reasons I like Argo Sheen is I find it does cut through oil and grease really well. And it is a carpet cleaner in its own right. Although I prefer not to use it for that because it does have a smell. Although I like the smell, but I prefer to use things without odors as much as I can. So most of my products are odorless. But the Argo Sheen is such a good cut through the oil and grease product. Then I primarily use it as a spotting agent. So I'm going slower in this lobby area, if you probably can see. Still raining out there. It's going to be a soggy day. I don't miss those days when I used to work outside, that's for sure. And the rain and the cold and the heat. Many, many, many years ago. I actually worked construction for a little bit. Worked in a sawmill when I was like 18, outside on the green chain. That green chain was outside. It wasn't under shelter. Yeah, it was a very long time ago. Like 40 years ago. Crazy. A little bit of wear right in this corner here. So slow down. Go over that just a little bit extra right in here. Spin around. Just gonna pull the wire so it's behind me. Pull this back a bit more, I think. More. Perfect. Spin around. The slack. There we go. See how easy that is? There's a stain right here, which I pre-treated. I think it came out. Spin around. Make sure my jet is still spraying okay. It'll get clogged in it occasionally. Sometimes I've had to pull the jet off and clean it out. Doesn't happen very often, but once in a while. I can use the bristle for my brush to get in the jet. That's right. Okay. It's a good idea when you store your machine, one of these machines that has a spray system like this to, if you're not using it for a little while, to flush out your pump and everything, because your cleaning solution itself could either coagulate or kind of crystallize in your jet, and sometimes it'll clog. So not a bad idea to flush through water through, maybe even add a little bit of vinegar and water. I do that sometimes when I remember. Or I go to check it, discover I've clogged, and then I clean it out. Because before this machine will sit for weeks at a time between uses, especially in certain times of the year. Because I do these buildings, tend to do them in the spring and then the fall. All the buildings that I do. So it'll sit for sometimes a couple of months. And by the time I go to use it again, what I do is I put some solution in and check the filter. And actually, there's a second filter in this system too, which I do occasionally check. It's in the. Oh no, I took it out. That's right. That's right. It was a problem. I remember now. I took it out of there. I was like, why do we have this extra filter? It doesn't do any good. It just clogs up once in a while. So I removed it. It was in line. Just not a good. It was more problem than it was worth. I just count on the filter that's in the one easy access one there. And that seems to work just fine. So I'm almost done this hall. I've already done I'm on the 3rd floor. This is, I've done the 4th above me, obviously. And then I've got one more below me, and then the 1st floor, there's nothing hooked up to clean on the 1st floor. And then I got some steps to do here. Not all of them, just a few of them actually. And then I can go over to the next building. I think I've gone through about 4 gallons of solution so far. Maybe a bit more. Anyway, that's one more floor done. So it took me about 30 minutes. Not bad. All right. Catch you later.